The following is a presentation of Kamehameha Schools, Bernice Pauahi Bishop Estate.
Aloha mai kako e nahoa makawaka o ka olelo Hawaii. Welcome to Kulāiwi. This is the 18th in a series of 24 Hawaiian language distance learning lessons sponsored by Kamehameha Schools, Bishop Estate, in collaboration with the State Department of Education. O e ke alaka ni Elpi o Crozier ko uinoa, a o au ki kumu no ke ia papa, a makimaki wau e mahalo ia o ko, no ko o ko nana ana mai ke ia kakahiaka. I'd like to oh, you probably got that. I'd like to say mahalo to all of you for watching this morning. I hope it's getting better and it's getting easier as you've been watching. Hopefully, you were able to catch number 13 yesterday. We're rerunning Kulāiwi on Fridays from 5:30 to 6:30 on channel 26. Okay, might want to write this down because we're coming out on a different channel for reruns. We come out on channel 25 for the live show, and on channel 26 for reruns of Kulāiwi, and that's like about 5 shows behind where we're at. Okay, 5. Yeah. So this week coming on Friday will be lesson 14. The neat thing is we're kind of back to back with another Hawaiian language show coming out of Hilo. This show is taught. This class is taught by Lehua Vincent, and so you know, if you can, you have the time at 4:30 on Friday, you can start watching Hawaiian language. That's pretty special. We have Hawaiian language for 2 hours, and you know that's really neat. Check your cable listings for Mana Leo. That's another Hawaiian language show. It's with 3 Kupuna and Kalani Akana, and they talk story about different Hawaiian things that might be interesting to you. That's conducted all in Hawaiian. So if you're just learning Hawaiian, it's good to hear, you know, people who speak, so you can get an idea of what it's supposed to sound like. Yeah, because sometimes you sit there going, I don't sound like that at all. I'll never sound like that. But that's why we have guests. So you can see that all of our guests on our show started somewhere at a place where there was nothing there. They started like babies, and just like babies, crawled, then walked, and finally began running. And that's how it is with language. There's a place to start where you know nothing, and then you can say a few words, and you can actually put it together. Then you can actually make sentences and have people go, oh yeah, carry on a conversation with you. Okay, so you know, take time, check it out where you can get Hawaiian language. On Tuesdays, out at Magic Island, there's Hui Kama Ilio. And Hui Kama Ilio is a conversation group where it's held only in Hawaiian. And you can go there, everyone's invited, anyone who's a Hawaiian language student. And so, you know, if you're watching this show, this is a real class. So you can say, you know, you take Hawaiian language from Kulāiwi. You know, I am not Kulāiwi. I have had 40,000 people come up to me and go, Aloha Kulāiwi. Kulāiwi is not my name, okay? I'm Ekela. But Kulāiwi is the name of the show. Kulāiwi means homeland, okay? But you can say you're a student of Kulāiwi. You can go over there and sit down, you know. And because it's all in Hawaiian, you know, that means you might not be able to say too much, but just to hear, like I said, hearing the language being spoken is very important, because, or else you think it's always stilted like this in a room where we, you know, go really slow and real deliberate, and that's not the way language lives. And that's why the vignettes are important, because there you hear Hawaiian language being spoken. But even in the vignettes, they're a little slowed down so that you can understand. Okay, so Hui Kama Ilio, Ala Moana, Magic Island. The Eva entrance to Magic Island parking lot you know where that bathroom is, then you go a little bit more and got vili trees, then you'll see a whole bunch of people sitting in a circle. That's where you go. And don't worry, you don't know anybody. They're very, plenty aloha there, and you can just sit down and somebody will make room. Take your dictionary though. That's a good aid, okay? Dictionary is like your Bible for Hawaiian language students. Hikino. If you have any questions, okay, remember that we have a hotline for Kulāiwi, and you're welcome to call. Leave your name and your number and your question, and I'll try to get back to you as soon as possible. Hotline number is 842-8059. 842-8059. Hikino? Okay. Also, if you're interested in purchasing videos, this is not like I'm trying to make the sales pitch, but for some of us who don't have VCRs or who don't have a way of accessing copies of Kulāiwi, you can call this number and ask for an order form, 842-8876. 842-8876. Hikino. Remember, this show is interactive, so if you have any questions that you want to ask me right now, I'm here and it's live, you can do so, okay? And I really appreciate it when you call. I say this every week. Please call me. Please let me know you out there and you have questions. If not, I'm going to assume there's thousands of people watching this, and you guys all know what's going on, okay? The number here in the studio for Oahu is 956-5670. 956-5670. And our Ohana on the neighbor islands, you can call 1-800-342-7949. 1-800-342-7949. Okay? Now, remember that we have our lessons in the midweek. And I'm not real sure what page it's on this week. But go right now, run to your midweek and go cut it out if you haven't done so, or just bring the midweek to the TV. Okay, and then you can make little notes on there. I have this one man who calls from Maui and says, his midweek is covered with notes, You can use a notebook on the side, okay? Put things on the side. Kind of hard to read through the print. But, cut that out and have it ready so that when we start the lesson after we watch the vignette, makaukau oi. Hikino? No leila, keia ka kahia ka mamake wau e ho'olauna ia oko I ku'u ho'apili. I tell you every Saturday that I have a very, very special guest, and this Saturday is no different. I have a very, very, very special guest this morning, and we've known each other for years and years and years. And so we'll talk story about how he started to learn Hawaiian language and where he's taken the language into his work today. This morning, I'd like to introduce you to Keoni Fairbanks, who's the Executive Director of the Kaho'olawe Island Reserve Commission. Aloha mai.
Aloha.
Pehea oi.
Maikai.
Maikai. Hiki no, na leila. Mai ha'alulu. Ale pilikia hiki a kawa ke kama ilio.
Hiki no.
Ai. No hea mai oi.
No Honolulu no Oahu nei.
Ai. O liki pume a'u. Ai. Hea kauhana I ke ia.
Oi aku ko makua iau.
Aka hele. E lua mahina vale no. E kokoke no. Na leila. Wa hea hakau I hana I ke ia kakahiaka.
Ko ohana ke kakahiaka.
Ua holo oe ki a kakahiaka, or just ala a ho'omakaukau hele mai?
Ala wa ho'omakaukau no ke la nui e hele kou ho'ike nei. Mahalo no wau ko ho'okono iau.
Yeah. Well, he mea nui no oe, ko uola. No leila, hiki paha ia oe ke vehe mai ia mako maka o lelo haole, I ka ho'omaka ano kau imi I ka o lelo Hawaii. Well, hiki ke ho'omaka maka o lelo Hawaii a mahope.
Ai.
Unuhi, hiki no?
O ho'omaka wau I ka olelo Hawaii I ku'u wa hele ke kula nui, hele mua wau I ka aina nui o Amalika. Mamaki no wau ho'i o Hawaii ne a'u I nā mea Hawaii, so ho'i wau I ka kauwela, aina wau ma ka papa ekahi, o ka olelo Hawaii papa ekahi ma ke kula nui a ko'u kumu mua o Kalena Silva.
Po mai ka ino oi.
Ai, he kumu mai ka ino oia. Hoi no wau I ka olelo Hawaii. A ho'i wau I Amalika no ke la kaukula ae. But no wau, ike wau, pono wau ho'i Hawaii ne hele ho'okome loko ke kula nui o Hawaii no ke kulana o ka mea Hawaii. So ho'i ke la kauwela ae a ko'u makahiki e lua ma ka olelo Hawaii me Haunani Bernardino. Ko'u mau makahiki mua a me ka elua a ino ma ke kauwela a mai ka ino ke la po mai ka ino wau hiki au ke hana I ka po hana wau I ke cannery no ka a halakahiki a I ka kakayaka nui heli wau I ka papa I 5 la I lua hola I 5 la I ka pule
Yeah. Pa'ano I ka olelo.
Pa'ano so he mea mai ka ino ke la
O mai ka so well vehe mai maka olelo haole cuz ke no ne ka po ina na me kia and he ala ka ne olelo hai. So yeah, so you started summertime learning.
Going to school on the mainland but I thought I wanted to get into Hawaiian studies. So during the summer when I was here at home I took summer session at the UH and that was really to me that's the best way you could learn it. If anybody is able to do it that way. I was young, so I had a graveyard shift job at the cannery at night, and I could take Hawaiian language in the morning, and it was very intense. 6 weeks, had a full semester, 2 hours a day, plus an hour of language lab, 5 days a week, and during the first summer.
And you went language lab?
And I went language lab.
Oh, you're one of those good haumana.
But that was because I got off work at 6:30 and the class didn't start till 8. So I just went eat breakfast and then I had nothing. I go to language lab. Sometimes I'd fall asleep in the language lab. But I went to language lab pretty regularly and that helped a lot. And my second year again with Hanani Bernardino. My first year teacher was Kalena Silva. My second year teacher was Hanani Bernardino, and both of those were summer sessions. And then I transferred to the university and I took third year and fourth year at Manoa with Pua, Anthony Hopkins, and Kawanoi Kimura.
And then in addition to that, you took Samoan too, and
right, we took Samoan.
Yeah, and that was fun. It was fun, yeah, because we had like a lot of Hawaiian language teachers were in Hawaiian language students, Hawaiian language teachers in that Samoan class, and we just whipped like one whole year in one semester.
Right,
yeah, we were good.
Special class.
Yeah, it was a special class. Do we remember? No, do I remember? I don't know. Don't speak Samoan to me. I'll be embarrassed. So after that, after you graduated in Hawaiian Studies and Anthropology, yeah? And then what did you do?
Well, before we get to that...
I know all the answers to these questions.
Before we get to that, in light of what you're telling your students about how to try and take that step and try and learn, what I recall is what helped make me more fluent was our gang at UH, the Hawaiian Language Club. We used to do all kinds of things, but we didn't talk Hawaiian that much. Yeah. But one day, one of our mutual friends, our Japanese brother, Vini Kapu, just stopped talking English. And even though his Hawaiian was hema hema and our Hawaiian was hema hema, just whenever we interacted as friends, he always made a point to do it in Hawaiian. And that was really what got me going. And I think that's a good trick to keep in mind.
Yeah, it always takes someone to be real strong about that.
Yes.
And I remember like when we went to Maui, and Kaveh and I talked about this when she was on the show, that when we went to Maui, it was Loke, and she came along with her T-shirt and whacked all of us for speaking English, and I could have killed her, but I didn't because she's still surviving. She teaches at Leeward now. But, it really takes being strong about wanting to try it. Yeah, and as hema hema as we were,
once you start, it's not so bad. It's just the initial discipline.
Well, I think, it's always come down to, it sounds so strange to have, this language coming out of your mouth. You usually have English coming on, then you hear this other language coming out of your mouth, and you think, nah, this doesn't sound like me, and so you don't feel comfortable. But like you said, once you take that step and say, okay, just try, it happens. Okay, so now moving along. After graduation,
Well, and even before graduation, we met Uncle Harry through Loke, also going to Kaho'olawe and starting the lo'i, Kapapa Lo'i o Kaniwai. And Uncle Harry was just so thrilled that there were young people that were trying to speak Hawaiian, so he would only talk to us in Hawaiian. And after graduating, we had made that connection with Uncle Harry, and so the club, as you recall, went up one summer to help restore lo'i, taro patches up at Kipuhulu National Park. And so after graduating, it went up, and I stayed on Maui for 2 years, or was it 3 years? So it was a while ago. But I stayed on Maui and stayed with Uncle Harry Mitchell, Kunihi Mitchell, and Ke'anai, helped him on his taro farm, and taught Hawaiian language for MCC, for Maui Community College in Hana. And that was really a fun time for me, and teaching to the hotel employees and the people in Hana who were interested, and substitute teaching on the side. And then after that, I came back to the university, and got into the Pacific Island Studies program and the Urban and Regional Planning program. And I got my master's in Urban and Regional Planning and went back to Maui and worked for the County of Maui with working as a planner in the planning department. And even there, Hawaiian language was very helpful to me because I think I brought something to the department they hadn't had before, as far as the looking at the historical and the cultural background of all these developments that they were approving. And I remember one where I kind of got in the hot water and made the paper where they were going to do a new development down in Kihei, and it was in the ahupua'a of Kaunaulu. And the developer had wanted to change it, the way the word was spelled, to be Kaunolu, or something entirely different, which he interpreted in a different way. And they were advertising it as 3 different words when it was really Kaunaulu, the desire for breadfruit, was a traditional name. And we brought it up at the public hearing for the approval, and having talked to some other people that were associated with the developer who he trusted, they agreed to go and change it back to the original name to maintain the history and the culture of that place. So, I mean, my point to them was, why are we going to go and change this when we have a perfectly good traditional name? And let's try and maintain the history that's contained in that name. So, Hawaiian language is very, very valuable. I think I knew when I was at the university that no matter what I wanted to go into, I didn't know if I was going to do teaching or land use planning, that the cultural and the language background is really essential for, I think, any professional, especially government, working in Hawaii. And
I think that's what we need to protect our language, is people in different areas, looking out for what is pono, So now with Kaho'olawe Island Reserve Commission, where is that? I'll give you a chance to say what you want to say.
Yeah, so after working for Maui County for 5 years, I was offered this job with this new commission. And because of the historic returning of Kaho'olawe to the state, and there was a commission set up by the legislature. And the commission by law is a majority of Native Hawaiians, and the island, the purposes to which Kaho'olawe can be used are restricted to those for the traditional practices of subsistence, cultural, and religious practices of Native Hawaiians, of education, of restoration of the environment, of archaeological protection, and no commercial uses are allowed. So with my work now, again, my background in the language and the culture is totally applicable, because this agency, this Kaho'olawe Island Reserve Commission, wants to do things different. They want to break the mold and set precedent on how to manage land, how to manage land in a Hawaiian sense from a cultural perspective, trying to always keep that forefront. And they really see it as a model for the future. If there's going to be a sovereign entity or whatever comes in the future, this is a model for how Hawaiian people and Hawaiian cultural values can be embedded right into the government, and how we should be taking care of our resources.
Oh, my ka'i. Well, I think our viewers, all wonder what's happening with Kaho'olawe, and, we don't see enough of it. I think we don't see enough of it in the papers to let us know, what's going on. Everyone got returned, and then what? So I think you need to get back into the paper. But as we can see, Hawaiian language has its place in so many different places, in so many different areas, of Hawaii, not just in education. And I think, because that's what people tend to lock us in. Last week we had Dwayne Steele, who's chairman of the board for Grace Pacific, and we wonder what does language do for him? Well, what it does is he takes what he has and gives it back to the people so we can have more language programs. So, everyone has their place in Hawaiian language. And we will mamake vau e mahalo aku ia oi no kou manawa ke ia wā pokole loa.
Mahalo ia oi, nui kou haoli e kipa mai me o kou, oi me kou mau haumana.
Mahalo nui. Ai, ku mau haumana. Everyone goes, yeah, you got plenty haumana. Hey, mahalo nui. Okay, ke ia la. We're going back to Kunani's graduation party, and someone called me up and said, wow, Ikela, your graduation party looked like it was in one fog. Okay, well, cannot help. We're trying to make them look like it was evening time. Just pretend, okay? But anyway, listen. Today we're going to go over olu things to say, okay? And we're going to look at how do you use the word with, okay? With, like W-I-T-H, okay? How do you use that word? How do you say what you're doing? Like hea hakau hana, yeah. Remember we had what do you want from 1 through 12 we did. What do you want? Hea hakau make make, and I sang you the song, yeah. Okay, but this one is hea hakau hana. We'll listen to hea ha, and then we'll hear the word pea and oya, okay, and we'll talk story about what those things mean too. So Nenea, okay, sit back, enjoy, and pay attention to what's being said. And if you have any questions that I don't answer during the lesson, you just kelipona mai, okay? Just call. Oahu 956-5670 and Ohana on the Neighbor Islands 1-800-342-7949. Ahuiho kako.
Hey, mahalo nui pehea oe.
O mai kai o mai kai a oi. He mea nui ka puka ana. He hakau hana I kia manawa.
I kia kau vela, e hana ana wau ma explorations ma ka mea meha, a mahopi o ke la e hele ana wau I ke kula nui ka iapuni.
Ke kula nui ka iapuni?
Ai, ai ama wai manalo.
O vai nā kumu, he aha nā ano papa.
He mau kumu Hawaii lako a pau, loia lako I nā kumuhana o like ole, ki ake aka mai, ka make makika, ka pili kanaka, a pela wale aku. A e noho ana wau ma ka hale noho haumana ma o.
Hiki no, make au e hele pū.
Ai, hiki no. E, aloha ka aua.
Aloha.
Mahalo no ko hele ana mai.
E, no o ka hau oli. Mai ka ke ia pa ina. Pea, he hookani pila kau.
Ai, he pila kau e hookani pila kako.
E ka se, ka wha, ka se e hiku. Ka mai.
O e kala mai o kia ko o ana kala o kaipo. O ke la ko o hoa aloha o ke koa,
Ai,
o
aloha.
ke la o ke ave. Ua hele pū maua o ke ave I ka punana leo. Aka, ua ne'e oia I Maui a ua noho wau ma Honolulu nei.
Ah, no leila, ua pukupu oi kia makahiki.
Ai, mai ke kula kaya puni o pa ia.
E, mai ka ke la. E hele pu ana oi, ke kula nui me kunane.
Ai, noho puana mau I ka hale noho haumana.
Ah, we, he nui no ka lea lea.
Ai,
E, ua lava paha ka wala au. Kani ka pila kako.
ai, o wai ke mele?
Ah, pehea o kuuhoa.
Ai, hiki no. Mahalo. Pea oko?
Oia mau no. No maluhi ki keiki. No ka mea ua au kai oia I ka ia la.
Oia, ka laki no oko. Ai hea kona kai kaina o lei ohu.
Hele mea na oia mahape me kana ipo.
Oia?
Ai, he kane olu oia no hono ka amai. Oi koni inoa. Mama, oi koni inoa.
Oi?
O kale o huiko.
Malulani koni inoa.
Malulani.
Pololi oi?
E ai o koa, e ka mea inu mao, e ka mea ai mahope o ka hale. Ono loa ka lu au hee, ua hana o tutu.
Oia. Mahalo, e iki ana mako ia oi.
Ai, hiki no. Aloha e tutu.
Aloha e kunane, e noho pu mea u. Make au e kamailia me oi. Pehea, ua lawa ka mea ai.
Ai, ua lava pono no. E mahalo nui e tutu.
No kia.
No kia paina.
E kunane, aloha nui au ia oi. O oi, ku umo o puna mua i puka mai ke kula kaya puni. Haaheo loa au ia oi. A o oi, ka mea kokua nui iau e malama ia pualei lau o ke alohi. Mahalo nui au ia oi.
Hiki no. Was that nice? How much of that did you understand? I hope, it's getting better and you understand more, okay? Because if you're missing it, then most of what happened in this vignette, this latest vignette, we explained last show. And the things that we're going to go over today are little things that you heard here and there. And so if there's some kind of pilikia, well, you just watch the reruns, okay? Fridays, channel 26 at 5:30. Hikino, there's a phone call, so I'm going to take that. Aloha mai, ulu.
Aloha, pehoi.
Mai kai, pea oi.
Mai kai.
Mai kai, o lipo ke lohi ko leo.
Ai, wo ke kai o ike wo ia ke ika kai ka no wo. Pono paha wo kai ia.
Pono no.
Keoni.
Mai kai, wa halele.
Oli wo ike ia maluna ke kiwi ke ika kai ka. O lele wo loko ko ulumi o ki. Nana ia Keoni, nana ia Keoni. So ai no ia ke no ne i maui.
A ole, wane e oye ane e.
Oia.
Malama ia kana oi hana ma ne e.
Aloha Keoni.
Wa halele e oye. Ka alpilikia.
Pehoi.
Mai kai.
E ana keiki?
Mai kai. Ke
ia ni no, maki wale no wo kam idio me oi. Imi hana ia ke ia ka ia ka.
Wow. Ali e he imi hana he mea hau oli loa ke ia.
Mai kai ke ia.
O na ke ko ho pa mai kai ia oi.
Ai, o ai ke kai.
Mahalo ki ke le ana.
Aloha hui o.
Ahui ho. Hiki no. One more. No, see? I can call us this morning. I'm so happy. Okay, Hiki no. Somebody from Kaneohe. Aloha mai.
Aloha, Kela.
Aloha.
This is Ka'ohu.
Ka'ohu. Pea oi.
Oh, my kai. I'm
My
really
kai.
enjoying your show.
Oh, right on. So you've been watching.
I wanted to thank you so much. The segment with Keoni, it was just unbelievable. It brought back so many memories of race
yes.
and studying. And I'll tell you, I'm so frustrated with myself for not becoming more of a part of the language clubs and different things along the way, because if I had done that, I would be where you two are today and speaking so beautifully. But I'm determined to catch up with you. I'm going to do the Vinnie Kapu style. Get serious.
That's it. The thing is that it's never too late. And that's what we need to remember, that it's never too late, no matter how old you are. I have to tell all of you a little story about this one man. I remember he was, I think, 60. He was in his 60s, had just retired, and came back to UH to start learning Hawaiian language and Hawaiian studies. And he was majoring in Hawaiian studies. And I was so impressed that he came back at such a late age, but that age part didn't make a difference. He was there because he wanted to learn. And he was a role model for many of us who felt that, well, if he can do it, so can we, And that's the way we should be, just never too late, okay? And some of us, like I teach a class on Thursday evenings. It's a class that goes off to different islands, Maui, Molokai, Kauai, Lanai, and Leeward, and also students in the studio with me. And many of the students that I have there are students who have been out of Hawaiian language for a while, and yet they still return. And so it's important to remember that no matter how long you've been out of it, now's the time to get back into it, because now we're seeing a lot more places to use the language, and a lot more people who speak it. And so get on the stick, okay? This is your chance. And aloha to you, ka'ohu. Hiki no. Let's begin our lesson, okay? This is Kulāiwi Lesson, Kapa'ina Puka Kula. Awe, we're pink on my screen and we're blue on another. Alipilikia. Okay, what are some of the olu things that we heard? Okay, we heard Tutu say, okay, aloha nui au ia oi. Aloha nui au ia oi. We've seen aloha au ia oi, okay, and for some of you, you might have heard aloha vau ia oi. Okay, au and vau, it's the same thing. It means I, okay, but sometimes when we see when we hear, we can say vo, but we shouldn't write vo, okay? We should be writing au, okay? Aloha nui au ia oi. Mahalo au ia oi. Remember I told you before that mahalo doesn't really mean some kind of gratitude or being grateful, more than it has the mana'o of admiring, okay? So when you say mahalo au ia oi, or you say mahalo, it's a show of admiration, okay? Admiration for someone's kindness, for their for that ano, for that way of being so kind, okay? Mahalo nui loa, okay? Mahalo nui loa. Mahalo, very much. I really, really admire you, okay? You see this nui? You put aloha nui au ia oi. I really aloha you, okay? You can put nui in back of almost any action and have it mean I, well, let's try this. I nui vo, okay? That's a junk one to use, but that's good. I'm going to use them anyway. I nui vo. I eat plenty, okay? Actually, I should change the subject. I nui oya. He eats plenty, okay? Holo holo nui lako. They run a lot, okay? So you see, you put the nui on top of the action, and you have doing that action a lot, okay? So in this case, aloha nui au ia oi. I really aloha you, okay? I love you big time, okay? Ai nui oia, he eats plenty, okay? He eats a lot. Holo holo nui o lako, they really run, okay? So like that. Anyway, just put nui on top there and that's what it does. Neat stuff, okay? Mahalo nui, really admire. Okay, what do you say after someone says mahalo? This is always a question, What do you say when someone says mahalo? Well, because it means to admire, I always think the best thing to say is mahalo back, because I admire you, you admire me, it just goes back and forth. I admire, mahalo, mahalo, mahalo. Okay, and that works. You just keep on saying mahalo back and forth to each other until you're both tired of admiring each other. Or you can say no'u kahau'oli, no'u kahau'oli. For me is the pleasure. For me is the happiness. Okay, no'u kahau'oli. Now some people say you can say a'ole pilikia, and I say a'ole pilikia, and my mother will say, oh, it's better to say no'u kahau'oli. Okay, so you can choose which one you want. No'u kahau'oli, a'ole pilikia. He mea iki'ia, that's another one. It's a small thing. The only thing is when you say things like a'ole pilikia and he mea iki'ia, you kind of discount that mahalo. When somebody gives you that, oh, it's a small thing. Oh, but they really meant to mahalo you. Okay, so you might want to remember, no'u kahau'oli. You say that? No'u kahau'oli. Make sure you're not saying no'u kahaule. Yeah, because that means something else. Okay, it means for me it's the haule. Okay, I don't think that's what you want to say, unless that's true. Okay, no'u kahau'oli. Hau'oli. Hikino. I think we have a caller from Kaimuki. Aloha mai.
Aloha.
Aloha, o waiko inoa.
Aua.
Oh, aloha.
Aloha. Tehe oi.
Mai kai.
Oh, maki au e haia oi. Wanana vau ka vignette. Ke la pule aku nei.
Ai.
Pakana au e.
Ai.
Ka vignette.
Ke la mahele me kunani me ka tutu.
Ai. Pakana au. Maki au e haia oi. Mahalo. Wanana mako I Kulāiwi
I nā pule a pau.
Mai kai, mahalo.
O kala mai ka uolelo ano heme hema wau.
A ole.
Ia o nei.
A ole.
Ka ulelo. Mahalo.
Mai kai.
Ahui ho.
Ahui ho. Aloha. Mahalo. It's nice to hear people are watching Kulāiwi all the time. Yesterday I went to the market and 2 people came up and said, we watch all the time. Oh, I just want to say mahalo to all of you because it's not, like you watching me, okay? And I get to be da-da-da-da, Kulāiwi. It's you watching because you want to support this language, okay? And when you support the language, we have a chance, our kupuna have a chance to survive through all of us. And that's what it's all about. Give them a chance to live in their islands through our mother tongue. So mahalo nui ya oi. Hikino, let's go on. Okay? This next part talks about how to say with something. Okay? So let's take a look. E noho pu mea'u. This is when Kunane is coming over to oh, that's a hard one. When Kunane is coming over to. Okay. And she tells him, E noho pu mea'u, okay? Sit with me. What is this pu right over here? This pu is together, okay? Together with me. Okay, pu just, pu doesn't really translate, but what it does is you can see that it's something coming together, okay? Okay, e noho pu mea'u. Hikino? Okay. E ai pu mea'u. This time it's what? Eat with me. Hikino? Eat with me. E ai pu mea'u. Now, this part over here, we're seeing au change to a'u. Okay? Mea'u. Now look what happens when we want to say sit with him. E noho pu meia. Okay? Meia. It's not me oya. Okay? You drop that okina o and it's just meia. Yeah, remember because oya is he, she, or it. And so when we put a me in the front of it, we just drop the o and we have meia. Hikino? So eat with him. I'm going to let you try. E ai pu meia. E ai pu meia. Hikino? Meia. You might want to practice this, okay? Because it's a little tricky. Hikino. E noho pu me laua. Okay? So see, we can put they too right in here. Sit with them too. Hikino. E noho pu me laua. E ai pu me laua. Okay? What if we want to say, go with Keli'i? Go with Keli'i. Shall we try? Did you try already? E hele pu me Keli'i. Da, 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 da. There it is. E hele pu me Keli'i. Hikino? So this is not hard to use, the me. I think the only tricky ones that you need to remember are mea'u, with me, and meia, with him. Other than that, you just use me with anything, okay? But you just got to remember, those two are probably the ones that might give you pilikia, because it's so irritating if you hear somebody go, oh, e hele pu me oya. It's not me oya, okay? It's meia, meia. You drop the okina o. Hikino? Meia. Or, come with me. Come with me. Okay, like that. E hele pu mea'u. Mea'u. Hikino? Not mea'u. You don't want to say mea'u. Okay, that's not something you want to say. Okay. So let's go on to the next pattern. This is what we've seen before, but I wanted to go over it just in case. Hekika kau. Hekika kau. Okay. Do you have, see when you put the possessive in the end over here, it now changes the mana'o to have a. Okay. So in this case, do you have a kika? Do you have a kika? Do you have a guitar? Okay. He'ilio kana. He'ilio kana. Does who have? Does he have a dog? Yeah? See, the interesting thing about this pattern is he kika. Okay? Cow. Do you have, this is the you have part, or you get one guitar. Do you have a guitar? Does he have a dog? Let's try that. Say it with me. He kika cow. He ki ka kau. Ikino? And so what if you want to ask, do you have an ukulele? Quick, say it. Ah, mai kai. He ukulele kau. He ukulele kau. Ikino? Okay, does he have a dog? He ilio kana. Because if he does, I'm not going to his house, okay? He va'a ko'u. He va'a ko'u. Okay? Va'a ko'u. Now we're seeing something different, okay? I have a canoe. Now the different thing that you're seeing here is what's happening. One is o, this is a, these two are a. How come it's not all o? Like how come it's not ki ka ko, he ilio kona, he va'a ko'u? Okay, well let's talk sorry about that, okay? Remember, I think we talked about this before, and I'll go over it again, okay? That different things have different kinds of possessives, okay? There's two kinds of possessives, the a ones and the o ones, okay? Now, if you don't remember it and you have pilikia and you get them wrong all the time, pilikia, you just got to practice, okay? I'm not real sticky about this, only because I think, you got to really work at it to remember which one is which. But the ah things are things that you acquire, okay? So, things that you can go buy from Long's Drugs, those are ah things. So, like puke, pepa, penny, those kinds of things are ah. But you notice you said ko'u inoa, my name. Your name, your family, your parents, your grandparents, all the people who came before you are O, okay? O-class things. So that's why when we talked about guitar, the possessive that we used was kau instead of ko, okay? Because guitar is something that you acquire. Now, some people will say, okay, then what is chair? How come you say he noho ko'u? I have a chair. Because with certain things that you can get onto or on kalamai, that you can get inside or on top of, those things are o. And I think what it has to do with is all things are more personal, more things that you can get into on top of things that you're connected with. Where all things are things that, if they weren't there, you could do without, okay? So with the ilio, unless you ride your ilio, which I don't think you do, ilio is dog, yeah, that's an ah kind of thing, okay? Unless you have a big ilio, an ilio nui, and then, it could be an o kind of thing. But if you have questions about, things like this, because this is kind of fuzzy, and you really need to practice it a lot before you can figure out which one is which, check out the book that I recommend, for this class, and that's Olelo Oiwi. Olelo Oiwi is a good Hawaiian language text that just came out, sponsored by Puna Naleo, and it gives you a lot of explanations. It really talks story with you, and I think you'd like that book, Olelo Oiwi, okay? Anyway, moving right along. Asking you the question, Heaha, remember that question, Heaha ko make make, what do you want? Well, today's question was, Heaha kauhana. Heaha kauhana, what are you doing? Heaha kauhana. And you see, we're using kau. Some people say kauhana. Depends on your perspective, what you think doing is, if that's an o thing or an a thing, okay? Heaha na ano papa. What are the types of classes? Okay, I think you see Lawa'e ask Kunani when she finds out he's going to go to a total immersion university. This is my dream, so I slipped it in, okay? That what types of classes will there be? Heaha na ano papa. Na ano papa. Okay? Okay, heaha meaning what? Okay. Another use of he. He mau kumu lako a po. I think it should be he mau kumu Hawaii lako a po. Okay, they are all Hawaiian teachers. I think that's what's said in the vignette. Okay, he mau kumu Hawaii lako a po. This what we see here, he mau kumu lako a po. They are all teachers. He kane olu olu oya. So you see, it's the same pattern as the one I showed you before, he ki ka kau. But this one is ending not with a possessive, but with the pronoun, okay? The ioa. So here we see oya. So it's not he has a handsome man. This one says he is a handsome man, okay? So you got to be real careful about what you say, or else you might say the wrong thing, okay? He mea nui ka puka ana. So in this case, graduation, ka puka ana, is a big thing. Okay? He mea nui. He mea nui ka puka ana. Okay? You could say, he mea nui ko umakua hine. My mother is an important thing, okay? Or an important person, kalamai. Okay? But you see how this is almost like the equational sentence that I talked about before. That here we have this side tells you what this side is about, okay? So this time it's graduation is an important thing. Hikino. Okay. Question is, owai na kumu. We've had this before, okay? But just for review, owai na kumu. Owai meaning who. Who are the kumu? Okay. Owai kemele. What's the song? Okay. What song? You hear that when they're gonna start singing. You hear I think Kunani who says, owai kemele. Yeah. What song? And I think Anakala Kaipo says, Pehea o ku'uhoa. Okay? Ualava kamea ai. Ualava kamea ai. Okay? The reason why I put this in here was because I wanted you to see how you can use ua with a stative. Okay? Remember I told you that statives describe the condition or the state of something. So in this case, the food is enough. Okay? And actually, I think Tutu asks this. She doesn't say it. She says, Ualava kamea ai. Ualava kamea ai. She asks Kunani. And Kunani says, ai. Ualava kamea ai. Ualava pono no. Okay, that it's quite enough. Okay, it's definitely enough. That's what he says. Okay, lava enough. Okay, sometimes you hear at the end of somebody dancing hula, they'll say, lava. Okay, it doesn't mean like pau, but it means enough, okay? Hu kalaki no oko, okay? This is how you say, how lucky for you folks, okay? This no over here is for all you guys, okay? Oh, how lucky for all you guys. So like, hu ka nani, okay? Oh, how beautiful, okay? You may want to try practicing that, you know, like saying, you know, oh, how good, yeah? Hu kamai kai, okay? Or saying, hu ka olu olu, yeah? Oh, how sweet, how nice, okay? So easy, that's all you say, you know. What else? Hu ka o mai mai, oh, how sick, okay? You can, hu ka ma luhi luhi, hu ka ano, hu ka stative, okay? Ano is the word for stative. Okay, so you can use it like that. And it's, you know, one of those little things that you can say that makes you sound so Hawaiian, yeah? Okay, we heard Anakala Kaipo say this. He nui no kale alea, yeah? Oh, so much fun. He nui no kale alea. Let's take a look at that. He nui no kale alea. Okay? And he also says, lava paha kavala au. Okay? Perhaps the vala'au is enough. Okay? Talking story is enough. We've had enough talk story. Hikino. Now this one, I think you've heard, but you might be wondering, how do you use this? Okay? So and so and so and so. Okay? Opualei laua o ke alohi. Opualei laua o ke alohi. Okay? If you wanted to say keola and momilani. O keola laua o momilani. O keola laua o momilani. Hikino. If you wanted to say my child and kea. Okay? O ka'ukeiki laua o kea. O ka'ukeiki laua o kea. Hikino. Now this that I put in here because I think sometimes you may hear people say pehea. And you think you're supposed to respond to that, okay? It really, just pehea by itself sometimes can mean, so how about it? How's it? Okay? And all you have to do is say, pehea, okay? And that's when you heard Anakala Kaipo say, pehea, you know, o ku'uhoa, when he suggests that song. Oya, oya, this is, I guess we say this in English too, you know, when somebody tells you something and you say something like, oh yeah, okay? But in this case, it's not oh yeah, it's oya, oya. Okay? So you might want to practice that, see how it sounds when you try it out on each other. Okay? Now, if you have any questions, like I said, about today's lesson, call in. Okay? Ask your questions. But for right now, let's go straight to the vignette and see how much of this has helped you make sense out of what you're going to see. Okay? Ahui ho.
Mahalo nui, pehea oe.
O mai kai o mai kai a oi. He mea nui ka puka ana. He hakau hana I kia manawa.
Kia kauvela, e hana ana wau ma explorations ma ka mea meha. A mahopi o ke la, e hele ana wau I ke kula nui ka iapuni.
Ke kula nui ka iapuni?
Ai ama wai manalo.
O vai nā kumu, he aha nā ano papa.
He mau kumu Hawaii lako a pau, loia lako I nā kumuhana o like ole. Ki ake aka mai, ka make makika, ka pili kanaka, a pela wale aku. A e noho ana wau ma ka hale noho haumana ma o.
Hiki no, make au e hele pū.
Ai, hiki no. Aloha ka aua.
Aloha.
Mahalo no ko hele ana mai.
No ka hau oli. Mai kai ke ia paina. Pehea he ho'okani pila kau.
Ai, he pila kau e ho'okani pila kako.
E ka se, ka wha, ka se e hiku. Ka mai.
O e kala mai o kia ko o ana kala o kaipo. O ke la ko o hoa aloha o ke koa, o ke la o ke ave. Ua hele pū maua o ke ave I ka punana leo. Aka ua ne'e oia I Maui a ua noho wau ma Honolulu nei.
No leila, ua pukupu oi kia makahiki.
Ai, mai ke kula kai puni o paia.
Mai kai ke la. E hele pū ana oi ke kula nui me kunane.
Ai, noho pū ana Maui ka hale noho haumana.
We, he nui no ka lea lea.
Ai.
Ua lava paha ka wala au. Kani ka pila kako.
Ai, o wai ke mele?
Pehea o kuuhoa.
Ai, hiki no. Mahalo. Pehea oko?
Oia mau no. No maluhi ke keiki. No ka mea ua au kai oia I ka ia la.
Oia, ka laki no oko. Ai hea kona kai kaina o lei ohu.
Hele mea na oia mahape me kana ipo.
Oia?
Ai, he kane olu oia no hono ka amai. Oi kone ino? Mama, oi kone ino?
Oi?
O ka le ohu ipo.
Malulani kone ino.
Malulani.
Pololi oi?
Ai oko, ai ka mea inu mao, ai ka mea ai mahopi o ka hale. Ono loa ka lu au hee, ua hana o tutu.
Oia. Mahalo e iki ana mako ia oi.
Ai, hiki no. Aloha e tutu.
Aloha e kunane, e noho pu me au. Make au e kamailia me oe. Pehea, ua lawa ka mea ai?
Ai, ua lava pono no. E mahalo nui e tutu.
No kia.
No kia paina.
E kunane, aloha nui au ia oe. O oe, ku umo o puna mua I puka mai ke kula kaya puni. Haaheo loa au ia oe. A o oe, ka mea kokua nui iau e malama ia pualei lau o ke alohi. Mahalo nui au ia oe.
Hikino. Was it better this time around? Hikino. We have a caller from Maui. Aloha mai.
Aloha, Kela. I love your program.
Mahalo.
And I listen to it all the time. However, I'm one of those Hawaiians that have a fractured brain and can't speak Hawaiian. And also, at 76, the maka is not too Garen, so it's hard to see, your screen when you have the words like what and how, and it's hard to see the sentence. It's so dark.
Oh, Hikino. Let me see what I can do about that for the next ones.
Yeah,
I try to
nice.
I try to make it colors that you can see and yet have it look pretty too, And sometimes I, experiment with different colors. Which I will see what we can do, okay? Hikino, mahalo nui. Because I need that kind of feedback, because when I'm sitting in my office working on it, I think, oh, this looks okay, and I think everybody can see it. And then when I put it on over here, big mistake. We try not to use gray again, okay? Try stick to black. Hikino. Was that better? Were you able to catch more of the patterns, okay? Like hu kalaki no oko. That's a good one to practice using, Hu ka nani, or hu ka olu olu, okay? Hu ka vela. Oh, that's what we can all use nowadays, yeah? Hu ka vela, because I hear that all the time, okay? Or even like saying, using that little word pehea. Like, sometimes when you want to say what, you don't say heaha, you can say pehea, okay? Pehea works. Or when you're surprised, yeah, you can say oya. Oya, like I didn't know that, Okay, if you're having questions about, how the patterns are used, what to say in certain situations, like maybe during the week, you want to figure out how should I practice? Well, one thing you can do to start practicing is you talk about your own day. Wake up in the morning and start saying, ke palaki nevo, well, ke brush nevo I ko'uti, okay? If you don't know the Hawaiian word, it's all right. Okay, use the English word and then go look it up later on so that you can plug it in, okay? But begin to talk constantly using different patterns that you've been learning here and there, okay? Now remember, we have another Hawaiian language show on Fridays at 4:30 on channel 26, okay? That's Lehua Vincent, and I think, he does a great job at explaining little details. For me, I explain the bigger picture, okay? So between the two of us, you can get a whole lot, okay? So pay attention to that. Today is Kanikapila at UH, okay? Today and tomorrow at 7:30. So if you're not doing anything, hele kako I Kanikapila. No leila na kia kua ho'opo mai ka ia oko apau. A makiwaki vau e mahalo ia oko no ko oko nana ana mai. A hui ho kako, a hui ho I ku umau kiki o ka lei aloha kua noni meti. A hui ho.